me again why a parameter doesn't need a margin of error.
There is no error.
Because there is no error. You've counted the whole population. Error is not a bad thing. Error is not bad. Error happens. Error happens because you have a bell curve. When you hit the middle of the curve, you've hit the average, but you probably won't. You'll probably hit close to it, which means you have to adjust that by putting error bars on it. If you've counted the entire population, you've got the entire population. There's nothing to be uncertain about. So here, again, I want to share this with you before our break. This is a great website called Headlines from a Mathematically Literate World. I think I may have shared this with you guys last term in 243. If I didn't, check it out. Our world, unemployment rate jumps from 7.6 to 7.8%. Which is, this is why I said unemployment before. I just copied and pasted this in your PowerPoint before I came down here. So, you know, and how many of you heard a headline like that before? Yes? Yeah, I'm guessing, yes, of course. So, mathematically literate world. Unemployment rate probably a little under 8%, maybe rising or not, can't really tell. You see why that's more true? Because what does the 7.6 to 7.8% actually have on it that aren't indicated there?
Margin of error.
Margins of error. Because the only way that I'm going to believe that that 7.6% is a P and not a P hat is if what?
They counted everyone in the
We
United States.
counted every single working individual in the United States and figured out that 7.6% of them were unemployed. That's the only way I can believe that headline. And they also have to do it with the 7.8% too, don't they? Please, Alan?
I just want to say, unemployment rates don't count discouraged workers either.
Oh, so thank you, Alan, for that point. What you just introduced is what's called non-sampling bias. We have sampling error and non-sampling error. Non-sampling error is a problem with the actual data collection. Sampling error is, even if you have perfect data collection, there's still variability. So thank you for that. Your project, which is not due till next week, deals with that exclusively. How to set up a good study to actually pull the correct data. So good for you. I've heard lots and lots of problems with the reports of unemployment numbers because of just that. They're only getting the ones that are accounted for, which leaves out certain groups. Thank you. Absolutely. This site, before you go for break, I put the link here, Math with Bad Drawings, which I love. If you want to check it out, the link is active. This is one of my favorites. I know I mentioned this to you guys in 243. But there's always this talk about new movies that come out, blockbusters. Just to take a sidetrack from confidence films for a second. I always compare any movie that comes out to Star Wars, the first Star Wars, which was actually Episode 4, A New Hope, released in 1977. I'm old enough to have seen every single one of all 6 Star Wars episodes in the theaters. I was tiny when that happened, but my parents took me there because they knew it was going to be huge. It grossed $461 million in 1977. Star Wars Episode 1, with Darth Maul there, I'm assuming that's Darth Maul, grossed $475 million in 1999. On the ranks of movies, if you look at them on Wikipedia, Episode 1, A New Hope, doesn't even occur on the top 25 movies. Episode 1 does, $475 million occurs. But the problem with that is, it's not adjusted for inflation, which I did hear somewhere. Where are you? There you are. If you adjust the earnings of Star Wars 1977 to put them in $1999, it would have grossed $1.3 billion. Just adjusted for inflation, not for population increases and not for ticket price increase. Now, when I say ticket price increase above inflation, ticket prices have outpaced inflation, just like college costs have outpaced inflation. Yeah, Blake's like, yeah, I know. Yes, you all know. I just recently graphed college costs versus inflation. It's depressing as hell. It's like a huge alligator mouth, just getting worse. Student debt just crossed the $1 trillion mark. Yeah, I know. It makes me sick to my stomach. That's why I went to the board meeting last night. I was so stoked when the board voted in favor of not raising tuition at all next year. It was supposed to go $5. And remember when Kirk came and talked to you guys yesterday, he said that they eradicated all the $5 increase. One of the budgets put forth was that we could raise tuition $1 and take the money that was left over from that $800,000 back from the state to pay off DOCC. And the board was like, no, that money was for tuition, and there it will stay. I was like, in the back of the room. I couldn't say anything because it wasn't my place to say anything. It was a heck of a dance. So that makes me happy when stuff like that happens. What makes me nervous is that was a one-year fix. We have to make sure we carry it into next year. But it's all about inflation and other things too. And now these are obviously, I'm assuming, census numbers. because I'm assuming they have a network of information collecting that all the theaters report their earnings. So there's no margins of error necessary on ticket earnings. I'm guessing. Please, Katie.
It's not really relevant stats, but is that why they're like raising the amount of tickets they're giving lately?
Tickets. Oh, parking tickets?
Another one.
I don't know anything about that. Maybe they're just finally starting to do what they said they would do, which is give you a ticket if you don't have a sticker.
Yeah, because last term they were pretty good on it.
They're pretty lax on it.
Last term they were really.
It's possible. I mean, those are sources of revenue, right? But if they're like, if you don't park, you don't get a ticket, I'll give you a ticket, then you just don't do it. We can't really be pissed. It's kind of like when YouTube goes down. It's like, son of a. Wait, it's free. I guess I can't complain. So.
Well, parking is such a problem anyways.
Yeah, see, it's like computer. I'm like,
Yeah.
right into my office. You can have my parking space if you want. What do you got, Alan?
I'm just curious, do you know what the $82 technology fee is for?
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. I did. A month ago I did. I don't know anymore. At the break, I'll look it up.
Is that the man in Blackboard? That's what I was thinking.
I'm sure it offsets IT costs.
And the computer lab.
I'm sure it offsets them. At the break, I'll take a look online so I can find it real quick. I don't know off the top of my head. I did at one point. So let's take 5, yes? Come back and do some more of this.